Good day, everyone. Our topic for today is about research in child and adolescent development. Our objective for today is the student were able to identify and the different research method in child and adolescent development. Principles of research. Teachers as consumers or end users. Involves decision related to educational policies, curriculum, effective teaching, and the event involving research. And now let's talk about research. Can be done with high level of quality and integrity, provide us with valuable information about child and adolescent development. It is kind of research that is studying about the development of the child. To be able to conduct a quality research, it is better for us to know the various research design and different data gathering techniques used by developmental researchers in conducting research. Here are some research methods in child and adolescent development. So the first research method is case study, an in-depth look at an individual. It compiles a detailed portrait of single individual's development. So it seeks or contains individual's information about family background, socioeconomic status, health records of the child, or work history of the parents, or even performance and psychological tests of an individual. So this information or other information can be obtained through interview and biographies of the child. However, the researchers need to exercise caution when generalizing from the information. It's because there are information that cannot be included in your research, or there are salient information that only the parents of the child will know. So the second research method is a naturalistic observation method. Allows to study behavior as they actually occurs in a natural environment, making no effort to manipulate environment or to alter behavior. So this kind of research method is you're going to just observe the behavior of the child that occurs in a specific setting. Like if she is together with her family, if the child is together with her friends or other people. But there is disadvantages in using this kind of method. Like it's hard to determine the cause of a behavior, and the experimenter cannot control outside variables like those that typically occur in private setting, because you as a researcher did not interview or did not ask the personal information about the child or the cause or reason behind his behavior. The third research method is clinical method. It treats the subjects as unique individuals through giving freedom to search answers to questions asked, ensuring that the participant understands the meaning of the questions asked. This method helps find out how children think. So this kind of method is giving a freedom to your participants to search information or to search an answer about that question. Like it can help you measure how they think or how the child think critically in answering your question, or how they answer your question precisely. The fourth research method is the correlational method. It shows the direction and magnitude of a relationship between variables. That is, they can tell whether two variables are related positively or negatively, or and to what degree. However, it cannot determine cause and effect. So this kind of research shows the relationship of your variables, like in where they are related. It is they're related positively or negatively, and it also assess the statistical relationship between them with little or no effort to control the extraneous variable. The fifth research method is longitudinal method. Observes the same individuals at different point in time like the children or migrant workers whose development will be studied at yearly intervals. This allows the researcher to record and monitor developmental trends. This kind of research is the researcher observe or examine repeatedly the same individuals to detect any changes that might occur in over a period of time. Or it is that you observe the development of that child in how many years. If the child had developed differences since the day you start observing him or her. There are disadvantages of longitudinal method. The first is practice effect. When children are given the same test many times, they may become test wise. Improvement over time that is attributed to development may actually stem from practice with a particular test. So, this perfect effect is like if the children is already accustomed or like they are already bihasa, they can easily answer the test, especially if they already encountered it many times. It is like when the child is starting to walk or starting to stand, if they make it repeatedly, they can achieve or they will know how to walk or they will know how to stand strong with their own feet. The second disadvantage is the selective attrition. Another problem is the constancy of the sample over the course of research. Some children may drop out because they move away. Others may simply lose interest and choose not to continue. Yes, it is if the child that you are being observed will drop out or move away in the specific phase, or the participant will leave during conducting your research, or they lose interest to continue participating in your research because it is not a short period of time. It takes time before your study will finish. The next is the cohort effect. When children in a longitudinal study are observed over a period of several years, the developmental change may be specific to that particular generation. It is a research result that occurs because of the characteristics of the cohort being studied, or it is the result of the children development that you are being observing within a long period of time. And lastly is this method is expensive and time consuming. It's because in conducting this kind of research or using this method is it takes time before your research well done, or it takes time before you can come up with a solution or the conclusion of your study or problem. Next, the longitudinal method is the cross-sectional method. Individuals of different ages are compared or tested at the same time. It uses representative samples or two or more levels on the same measures. It allows the researcher to record and monitor developmental trend and is more convenient to use than longitudinal method. However, it cannot provide information about how individuals change or about the stability of their characteristic. So this is to collect data from many subjects at a single point in time. So it means that you collect information in a specific time only. It is not time consuming unlike longitudinal method. The next is experimental method, the only true and reliable method of determining cause and effect relationship. It involves manipulating variables to determine if changes in one variable cause changes in another. It is like you investigate what is really happened, or why is that child became malnourished, or why did that child became obese. So you need to undergo experiment or research to identify the cause and effect or the reason behind the development, so that you as a researcher will come up with a relevant conclusion of your problem. So scientific experiment must be conducted and reported in such a way that another investigator can replicate them to verify validity of results and conclusions. It is where the series of steps are developed to test the hypothesis, or a step-by-step process to come up with the exact conclusion of your problem. So the Hawthorne effect may result if the subject will change their behavior or respond in a specific manner simply because of their awareness of being observed. Yes, because they are already aware that they are being observed by someone or by a researcher. So the next research method is action research, a reflective process of progressive problem solving led by individuals working with others in teams or as part of a community of practice to improve the way they address issues and solve problems. Appropriate in a setting where changes are to be implemented and stakeholders are involved. Result is specific to organization. That is, it cannot be interpreted within different organization. This is a type of research study that is initiated to solve an immediate problem, and it is also provide solution to a problem. And this is usually focused on the immediate application on the development theory, and this also empowers personal growth. Here are some data gathering techniques. The first is interview and questionnaire method. Allows the investigator to gather quick information and to make direct comparison between data provided by different participants. Data gathering may be done through a printed questionnaire, over the phone, by mail, in person, or online. So this kind of method allows the researcher gather information through interview and through printed questionnaire as the source of data that are needed and included to their study. So the next data gathering technique is life history records, in which you're going to collect personal information about your respondents, or you're going to interview your respondents so that you can get information or the data that are needed in your research. So the next data gathering technique is observation, can be made in either laboratories or materialistic setting. This is a kind of data gathering technique that involves the direct observation of your respondent in a natural setting only. The next is standardized tests. These are prepared tests that assess individuals' performance in different domains. Tests are administered in consistent manner. So it is a type of data gathering technique in which the respondent will undergo rapid tests to assess their individual's development. So the next is self-reports, a special case of using tasks to measure children's behavior, or simply children's answers to questions about the topic of interest. So this technique in which the researcher will ask the participants about their feeling, attitude, beliefs, or other interest of the child. And this also used as gaining participant responses in different types of research. The next is the physiological measures, certain indicators of children's development such as heart rate, bone growth, hormonal levels, body weight, and brain activity. This also involves the direct or indirect observation of variables attributable to normative functioning of systems and subsystems in the human body. The tools and the techniques of this method are varied, but all based on empirical observation. There are some ethics in lifespan research. The first is protection from harm. Participants have the right to be protected from physical or psychological harm in research. So it is your responsibility as a researcher to protect your research, or to protect the participants of your research from harm or danger. The second is informed consent. It is very important to ask permission before conducting research, especially if your participants are children. Before you are going to ask them questions, or before you gather data that are needed in your study. Third one is privacy. Participants have the right to concealment of their identity on all information collected in the course of research. They also have this right with respect to written reports and any informal discussion about research. It refers to the participants' right in controlling the information that is being asked by the study, and no participant should ever be forced to reveal confidential information to their researcher. The next one is knowledge of results. Participants have the right to be informed of the results of research in language that is appropriate to their level of understanding. So they have the right to be informed the result of your research so that they can give feedback about your study. So the last one is beneficial treatment. If experimental treatment believed to be beneficial or under investigation, participants in control groups have the right to alternative beneficial treatment if they are available. It is that this help develop new tests for diagnosis, treatments, and process that could eventually help children or grandchildren in their development. And this also means that who can benefit your study in the future. Let's ponder this quote. Research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. It means that research can make us see and think what others think and see about something.